passed the Appropriation Bill 2023 and today the 52.7 trillion budget for the year 2023-2024 has been read. Amidst economic recovery, full monetization has been upheld. In a communication, the Speaker of Parliament has cautioned government over the continued borrowing that now has the country debt strapped at 80.8 trillion shillings. Local content has well been fronted as the country gains feet on development across various sectors.
The increased domestic borrowing is amidst the increased public expenditure, which is a pressure to the economy, and as 11th Parliament, we want to request that we reduce on public borrowing. 5, the high unit cost of implementing the infrastructure projects, notably in sustainable energy development and integrated transport infrastructure and service programs. This is mainly attributed to overdependence on foreign entities.
While reading the budget, the Finance Minister Matia Kasaija informed the country that 2023-2024 budget has been prepared to advance full monetization of Uganda's economy through commercial agriculture, industrialization, expanding and broadening services, digital transformation and market access.
A higher income per capita than ever before. Let me repeat this, because it is interesting, especially to me, who is working day and night to make sure that the youth and the sick are helped to recover. Uganda has registered visible improvement in healthcare outcomes, access to knowledge, and a decent.
President Museveni, who is still recovering from COVID-19, has not deviated from his earlier speech during his address. He insists that the cash-strapped parish development model, emyoga, and value addition are key to boosting Uganda's economy. He further cautioned that government's borrowing appetite has to be checked as it eludes more from the country. According to the Finance Ministry, post-pandemic and Russia-Ukraine war recovery will set growth to 6% in the next 5 years.
Your budget, Ugandans, of Uganda shilling is total 52 trillion. While I support that budget because there is no other solution in the short run, it is important to know, and Kasaija talked about it, but it should be highlighted, to know that shilling 17 trillion of that budget is to pay debts.
They will provide specialized care to all Ugandans and reduce medical referrals abroad. In addition, all existing health center 4s and health center 3s will be facilitated to offer quality health care to all Ugandans. In this respect, health worker supervision and management will be strengthened to reduce.
The resource envelope for the financial year 2023-2024 is expected to come from domestic revenues of 29.7 trillion shillings, domestic borrowing of 3.2 trillion shillings, external financing, among others. According to legislators, the budget is only good as long as the Finance Ministry respects its implementations. With 29.7 trillion shillings sourced domestically and 3.2 from external borrowing, government is expected to tackle corruption that has largely affected progress.
Actually, you've heard clearly from the President, we have up to about 35 trillion shillings that is available for us for our recurrent and development expenditure. So we need discipline in those resources. We need to ensure that corruption is minimized to the best of our ability to ensure that those resources are put into good use.
Program-based budget of 52.7 trillion shillings has mainly focused on increasing household income of the 39% of Ugandans who are still living in adverse poverty. 17 trillion shillings from this budget has to finance the budget. That is why government has decided to reduce public expenditure.
Well, that is it for the national budget, and of course we expect that in the next year, we shall have a lot of improvements, including infrastructure and, of course, other things that have been highlighted right there for you. Now, looking at the Bank of Uganda economic report, now the Deputy Governor of Bank of Uganda, Michael Ego, presented the monetary policy statement in the month of June 2023, in which he said that inflation is steadily declining, and, of course, and they are committed to see that the central bank rate is at 10%, despite the fact that we are in, of course, the high cost of living that is affecting many Ugandans.
According to WUBO's data October 2022 to May 2023, annual headline and core inflation decreased to 6.2% and 5.6% in May 2023 from 8% and 6.8% in April 2023 respectively. Annual inflation for electricity, fuel and utilities eased to 0.9% in May from 2.1% in April 2023, where also food crop inflation decreased to 15.7% from 25.3% in May 2023, as well as inflation for goods, including imported items, declined to 7.4% in May from 8.8% in April 2023. For it's a great deal for inflation to decrease, high cost of living is still a challenge until medium-term objective of 5% inflation that is supportive of economic growth is achieved.
The rate at which prices were rising in October was 10.2%. Now, the rate at which prices are rising in May 2023 is 6.2%. It does not mean to say that prices are coming down per se, but it is the rate at which the prices are increasing that is reducing. So that increase in the prices are still rising, but the rate is coming down. So it is still affecting the cost of living. And that's why we're saying that we need to bring down this inflation to the medium-term objective of 5%, which is supportive of economic growth of about 6 to 7%.
In the basket of the household consumption basket, you can see that there are some key items whose prices have come down and therefore partly contributing the cost of living. However, on aggregate, we know that the basket, again, the prices have gone up on average, as we said, by 6% in the as of May. But overall, I think there are some, I wanted to amplify that there are some items in the basket that are clearly pointing to the decline, rather than increasing.
In line with Bank of Uganda, economic growth remains uncertain with potential balance risks such as protected weak global growth and lower commodity prices constraining Uganda's export earnings, lower external financing which could restrict government expenditure, and high public debt burden, weakening local currency, limiting government borrowing capacity, and slow foreign investment influence. However, MPC projects economic growth in range of 6 to 6.5% for financial year 2023-2024.
The MPC projects economic growth in the range of 6 to 6.5% for the fiscal year 2023/2024. Economic growth is anticipated to return to its sustainable long-term trend in 2024/2025, bolstered by investments in oil-related infrastructure, the energy sector, transportation, and a recovery in the manufacturing and construction sectors.
The committee's focus on addressing inflation, interest rates, and exchange rate stability demonstrates their commitment to maintaining a robust financial system that benefits businesses and citizens alike.
Now, a guide program for farmers of small and medium enterprises in Kizza sub-region was held at the United Nations Development Program together with the Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And now this year, their aim is to utilize opportunities of the African Continental Free Trade Area to grow businesses in the region.
The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, signed in 2018, has laid foundation for a single African market, uniting over 1.3 billion consumers. This historic agreement presents a multitude of opportunities for businesses across the continent, including those in Kigezi sub-region. Additionally, representatives of over 50 SMEs participated in this training program, aiming to familiarize themselves with AfCFTA and advantages it brings. Brown Twebaze, a consultant trainer attached to UNDP, emphasized the importance of aligning SMEs with existing market needs in order to attract clientele at continental level.
The opportunities are quite enormous. For example, you must know where demand is. And apparently you start with where we have demand. We have demand on West African market level in the Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, and South Sudan. In those countries which are making an East African community market block. Like in Kenya now, our market share from Uganda products is 11.2%. In the DRC, it is 8.16%, which shows that we already have great potential to trade on any proximity trading block.
He further highlighted the significant potential for growth and success if SMEs can effectively tap into expanded markets.
But now we are on the step of presenting opportunities to them, which if they adopt, they can successfully trade well on this trading block. The AfCFTA is based on the continental base with 52 country membership, and so it is about to generate very many market opportunities for various SMEs across Africa.
James Odong, Communications Officer for National Chambers of Commerce, underlined the need of educating women because despite being historically marginalized, they are excellent at business and investing.
You know, women are very active sex of human being. They know how to do business, and if they do it, they know how to save. They are very hardworking, and I dare you, during all the trainings, we've realized that they are very knowledgeable on trade and investment. What they might be lacking is one or two small things on how to the taxes, to pay taxes, the necessity, the agreements or to register the businesses. You know, they've been doing it on small scale. So now with this training, I know basically they will be out there competing with the rest of the world.
Participants who benefited from the training expressed their gratitude, stating that it provided them with valuable insights into numerous opportunities available to them.
We are very grateful for having been introduced to the international markets that are available, but as the level where we are, we have some challenges, especially lacking the standards, the UNBS standard that would help us to cross the borders and take our products there. And the process of acquiring this mark, the quality mark, is very rigorous.
This has really been a challenge for most of us, but I'm told even Uganda National Bureau of Standards will soon be coming to us to take us through how we can register our businesses and be able to access, and be able to standardize our businesses and our production. There are various other opportunities, I think, like they have mentioned in the country, as accessing finances, mechanizing our businesses. So I think given such trainings, we are going to run away from the rudimentary way of doing things and mechanizing our businesses, and so we shall be able to compete internationally.
Through such initiatives, it is projected that the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement will lift an estimated 30 million people out of poverty in Africa, with an additional 68 million individuals escaping moderate poverty.
Now let's look at the oil and gas industry. Now, as a function presided over by the Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Total Energy handed over settlement houses for individuals that were impacted by the oil and gas in Tilenga, and of course that is Police district. Now, out of the 205, 105 houses had already been finished and occupied. Now, the minister actually say that those that refuse to comply by the fact that they have to be compensated shall be taken to court.
The Tilenga land acquisition and resettlement process is being carried out in accordance with the national and international laws, as well as the international guidelines outlined in the IFC Performance Standard 5, and in consultation and engagement with numerous stakeholders, including project communities, government organizations, and civil society organizations, among others. According to Philip Brooks, the country manager of Total Energies Uganda, the housing project being carried out by the Ugandan firms such as the Technical Masters Limited, ATX Limited, is committed to extending solar electricity to homes in line with their goal to ensure sustainable renewable energy consumption.
That we will visit is a symbolic testament of our commitment towards development of renewable energy sources. Together with the Ministry of Energy and with Petroleum Authority of Uganda, we are working on a bigger project to provide electricity to the neighboring communities, either by grid extension and connection or by supplying autonomous additional solar home system for more than 8,000 households.
As evidenced by numerous complaints about relocating and cracked houses, some members of the host community appear to be unhappy about this. A member of parliament present stated that in order to ensure efficient operations, communication between the investor and the project-affected people needs to be streamlined.
Will be given also utensils after handing over the houses, resettlement houses. So it clearly shows they didn't meet the expectation. Whether they were promised or not, now that's another issue. But a mindset change, like moving people from where they are, because these are better accommodation from what the PAPs had before. But now communication, the way to deal with expectation of the PAPs, that is key to actualizing this project. Because she clearly said that she had protested taking up the new house. So as a member of parliament, yes, a human being will always need more. I still blame people who passed over the information to her in that. But for the issue of cracking, that is a genuine concern. You can't give a person a house and it has cracked. So because of that defect liability period, we're expecting all those anomalies to be corrected. So we are hopeful that they will correct the cracks, if there is, maybe for her, and that's a special case, maybe. So everything will be fixed.
First of all, two things brought me here in Tilenga, because Ugandan is aware that we have two areas which we are developing, one being developed by Sino in Chikube and on Lake Albert, and this one is in Tilenga, which is developed by Total Energies. So they have been working on houses for the project affected people. In total, Total was supposed to work on 235 houses, and as I speak now, 135 houses are done. And 30 we have commissioned and given away. Today we have commissioned 105 houses to the project affected.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development presided over the event and encouraged the project affected persons to take advantage of this chance for a better way of life. She also issued a strong ultimatum to the 27 PAPs who are still involved in family disputes, the 6 project-affected persons who are missing and have not been able to collect and sign the compensation money, warning them that the government will take their causes to court and ask the judge to issue a court order of compulsory acquisition to ensure they achieve Uganda's first oil project.
Just going to seek court's decision or authorization so that we deposit the money that the government valued in their land, so that we proceed, because the developers want to prepare the area and we want to move. And those who are away, we can't tell where they are, and in our books they are project affected people. There are 6 of them. We've made announcements, we've done everything possible, but they're not showing up. I'm also giving them last chance. End of July, we are going to seek authorization to utilize their land. We will take the government valuer's value and we shall deposit money in court. There are those who still have wrangles within the family, about 27 project affected people. They are still, oil money. They are still wrangling around.
Excuse me.
Members of Parliament are yet to launch the Labour Decent Employment and Productivity Forum that is basically going to handle the labour industry, that is in relation to both the internal and external labourers. But they urged President to replace the late State Minister for Labour, Employment and Industrial Relations.
The 9th Parliament passed the minimum wage bill, but President Museveni refused to assent to it on claim that the bill will discourage investors from coming into the country. The 10th and the now 11th Parliament have on several occasions demanded for this bill to be brought back on the floor of Parliament, but all in vain. Legislators under the Parliamentary Forum on Labour Decent Employment are to launch the above forum tomorrow, whose main agenda is to advocate for the rights of workers, both internal and external. According to the chairperson of the forum, Honorable Njom Jenny Roland, for so long Ugandan workers have had issues at their workplaces, but there are no clear policies to protect them.
You are aware, we have been having so many challenges in the labor industry, external labor, internal labor. There have been so many challenges, and we need to look at the policies that are governing our labor force to ensure that they are coherent. Secondly, we would like to effectively undertake a key role in legislating on issues relating to labor, employment and productivity.
The legislator says there is need for a body that analyzes labor and productivity issues as well as influence resource allocation in terms of legislation.
We intend to provide a platform where strategic advocacy and pressure groups can analyze labor, employment and productivity issues. We also would like to advocate, champion and strategically influence resource allocation for programs that advance good practice in the labor industry.
According to Honorable Margaret Rovsheja, they had for long pushed for a minimum wage bill in the 9th Parliament, but the President refused to assign it. According to her, Ugandan labour continues to be exploited owing to the lack of a minimum wage, and she feels the forum will be an avenue to bring the bill back to life.
We have those who are in sugarcane, those who are working in the tea factories, and many others. How can we say what is the starting point? If everybody gives what they want without having a minimum which will set the pace, then we shall continue to suffer. That's why you hear someone, a graduate, is working somewhere in a private school and gets 100,000. You get a doctor working in a hospital in Kampala, and they give you 100,000 per day that you come. Those are the injuries that we are faced with, and so it's important that it should be looked at.
Margaret stresses that the country has no clear policies on labour externalization, and because of this there's need for a bill to clear the mess the country is in at this point in time.
We need a concrete bill specified looking at those issues, because when we talk about externalization, we are also getting others from outside who are coming to Uganda. The law we might find that we are thinking about our people who go out and they suffer because we don't have a proper law in place, but also how about those who come to Uganda? There are times when you see, if you are at the airport, you find that a particular nation is bringing in about 200 at a go. 200 workers, and you wonder what is it that they are going to do. So we need to be in the know of what is happening and how do we treat them when they come here, or their bosses, the employer, how do they treat them?
In order to protect investors, the late former Permanent Secretary Keith Mwakanizi discouraged the president to sign the minimum wage bill in the 9th Parliament. However, there are currently more than 4,000 industries in the nation, but without a minimum wage.
Well, that is it as we continue to hope for external laborers that are facing quite a number of challenges outside our country, Uganda. Business Edition goes for a short commercial break. We shall be right back.